good evening. I am your host and sometimes camp director, and tonight we're going to be taking you on a journey. Welcome to Mahicha's very first Whodunit Mystery Night. I'll set the scene. This evening you're going to be meeting a cast of characters who are all toys belonging to a little girl named Alicia Smith, age 6. Their lives have always been carefree and happy, until now. Now, something terrible has happened. Sometime during the night, Theodore Roosevelt, the stuffed bear, has disappeared. He isn't in the toy chest, he isn't on the bed, and he isn't on the shelf behind the door. Something must have happened to him, and we all suspect there is foul play involved. Little Alicia went downstairs to watch cartoons without noticing that Theodore was gone. But when she comes back, she's sure to realize that he's missing, and she's going to be heartbroken. We need to find out what happened to Theodore before Alicia gets back. Now, I want to give you some information about how this game will be played. In 3 rounds, you will meet each of our suspects, and they'll take turns sharing information about how to help you solve this mystery. At the end of each round, the characters will be given the chance to talk to the other suspects for questions or clarifications. I will also be revealing some clues throughout the game. At the end of the final round, you will be your opportunity to write in who you think is responsible for the disappearance of Theodore and why, and then we will reveal the culprit and hear their confession tomorrow morning and find out what really happened. Let's begin.
Action.
Biscuits and Mr. Nerfles napped with Alicia and Theodore every day. Now, Theodore is gone and Mr. Nerfles and Biscuits are still here. Does that seem suspicious to anyone else?
Theodore was one of my best friends. Also, I'm just a silly bunny. How could I plot a bear napping?
Remember, Theodore was one of my best friends. I had no reason to dislike him.
Alicia left Theodore atop Rudy last night, and now he's missing. Maybe that rocking horse did something.
He was not. You're wrong. Or maybe worse, you're lying.
I was on watch in the corner of the toy chest until 2300 hours, and I never saw or heard anything in the night.
Guess what? Barbara was jealous of Theodore because Alicia liked him so much. She would always glare at him when Alicia tucked Theodore in for his nap.
Why in the world would I be jealous of a rickety, stuffed bear?
Mr. Nerfles is always so quiet. He's got a sly, sneaky look to him. I think he might have been planning something for a long time. You certainly can't trust him to tell the truth.
That's ridiculous. I'm quiet because I'm just not that smart. Not that I'm sneaky.
Barbara once told me that Alicia was far too good for a common toy like Theodore.
It's the truth. I mean, I didn't do the bear in. That's an absurd thought. It could have been monsters. They could have dragged Theodore under the bed and then ripped his stuffing out. What a terrible thought. And ridiculous. Monsters aren't even real.
I remember last year the house was filled with all kinds of scary monsters during Halloween.
So, I heard a thump in the night last night, and it sounded like somebody opened the toy chest. But I couldn't hear who it was, or if they were coming or going, because right after I heard that noise, I fell back to sleep. Yeah, I remember hearing something like that, but I'm not really sure what it was.
This just in, I have a clue to help you continue to solve the mystery. As all of you are discussing your theories and suspicions, you notice that Theodore Roosevelt's pajama top is still neatly folded on the shelf above Alicia's bed, with his sleeping cap beside it. Alicia always puts Theodore's pajamas on him before bringing him to bed or nap time. The fact that his pajamas and cap are still there means that Alicia must not have taken him to bed last night. Either that, or whoever took him took the time to take off his pajama top, fold it up, and put it on the shelf. A shelf that is much too high for any toy to reach.
action.
Well, you didn't hear this from me, but Judith did mention that she thought Alicia would be better off without any stuffed animals at all.
Oh, I would never say anything like that. It seems like jealousy is making some of us reduce to starting rumors.
I saw Action Joe and Theodore talking yesterday, and Action Joe seemed really angry.
I was just gathering intelligence regarding tea parties. I wanted his expertise on the topic. I heard Biscuits and Theodore arguing the other day. It seemed quite heated.
No, we weren't arguing. We were debating. That silly bear had the quite most ridiculous ideas concerning the properties of snuggliness. And I was setting him straight. Well, if you think of it, if the kidnapper opened the toy chest last night, he must have had hands. And no toy without hands could have opened that chest. So obviously, that means that Mr. Nerfles and Rudy or I couldn't have done it, right?
I heard that Action Joe used to have a grappling hook and a rope, but now they're both missing. Doesn't that seem just a little suspicious to you?
I lost them on a mission behind the couch.
Guess what, darlings? Action Joe, he has a terrible temper. I saw him once throw a whole tantrum when he couldn't find his little toy rifle.
I do not have a temper.
Monsters seem like the most likely explanation. Seriously, they could have dragged him away and already ripped him to shreds. Maybe even eaten him.
Yeah, maybe one of them snuck back in to do some bear napping.
So, I know that Action Joe does not belong to Alicia. He belongs to her brother. Can you really trust someone who belongs to a little boy?
I have heard of Commander Smith, but I have not met him.
This just in, a second clue. As all of you are discussing your theories and suspicions, you notice something odd about the top left corner of the toy chest. There are several fresh scratches in the wood there. They aren't very deep, and they may not have anything to do with Theodore's disappearance, but the marks definitely weren't there yesterday. So they probably bear some consideration. You know, come to think of it, I do remember Alicia leaving Theodore on top of Rudy the Rocking Horse several times last week. In fact, I'm sure that she left him there last night too. Maybe the horse is holding something back.
Like I said before, you're mistaken.
Baby sleeps a lot, wet the bed, and I don't know if maybe that has something to do with the missing bear, but I just thought I'd let everyone know, just in case.
You're such a horrible person for saying something like that. You're mean. And anyone who would say such a mean thing is probably capable of all kinds of awful things. Like bear napping.
You know, now that I think about it, Jacqueline's theory about the monsters kind of makes sense. Theodore was probably taken by one of the monsters. Either monsters or enemy forces or maybe even aliens. The point is, there's really no reason to assume that it was one of the toys.
You know, that's actually true. I've heard about those aliens that steal toys. It's super scary.
You know what I heard? I heard that Action Joe had Kung Fu grip. I saw it on his packaging. A toy with Kung Fu grip? He could easily have dragged away a helpless little bear. Duh.
My training is only used for good. In fact, if my sensei had heard of me using it for anything else, I would be stripped of my quadruple black belt. Hi-ya!
Okay, guys, I guess it's time to come clean. The bear was sleeping on my back last night, but I just didn't say anything because I thought it kind of seemed a little bit suspicious.
If you ask me, all of Jacqueline's talk about monsters is obviously a cover-up. She must be hiding something, or she wouldn't be saying all these silly, drastic things.
That's exactly the kind of thing I'd expect from a toy who's secretly a monster in disguise to say! Aliens, 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 aliens! It makes perfect sense. Action Joe is right. It could have been aliens. I've heard that they steal toys and then do medical experiments on them. Mm-hmm.
Woody the antique walking horse? He lied about being with Theodore last night. What else could Woody be lying about?
Thank you, investigators, for following along with our tale this evening. Now, it is your turn to think and solve this mystery once and for all. Please send us an email or leave a comment on our Instagram to show us who you think is the culprit, and we will meet together again tomorrow to find out who stole Theodore Roosevelt. Thank you and good night.